welcome back to the Creator Shelf, and you are joining me on a cold, dry evening in Brussels. So thank you so much for being here. Welcome to new subscribers and welcome back to those who already know me. This is the Creator Shelf and I am filming from Brussels. So thank you everybody who has been leaving some very positive comments in previous videos. It's always very encouraging. I thought for this week I would just do kind of like a rundown of my 2021 Oracle decks, which I had promised a few weeks ago. So yeah, so I thought this is the evening, let's just go for it. Now I am somebody that's not really an Oracle deck person, or at least I wasn't. Tarot is what has originally intrigued me, but at the same time, you know, I've always said my original link to tarot, and always will be, is that it's visual clues. That's really important for me. It's visual clues, it's direction, it's a tool, but I do not see, for me, I do not see tarot or oracle decks as the only way for me to connect with something that I believe in, or for me to even understand myself better, whether it's divination or self-development. For me, it's not the only tool. So these are just kind of like, just items that I can use, you know, photos or images, sorry, that help me, but they're not the only ones, basically. I can't say any way better. So coming to Oracle decks, it's not kind of like something that I particularly wanted a huge collection of. When I first began Tarot and Oracle deck, kind of like looking at them and working with them back in 2015, I think it was, I had bought a Doreen Virtue Healing with Angels deck. It's my first Oracle deck and I still have it. I still think it's beautiful, but I hardly ever used it. To be very frank with you, I hardly ever used it. And when I came back to starting to work with, or when every now and then when I work with tarot, I would just kind of like forget about the Oracle cards. I just used a tarot deck, and most of the time I used the Paulina Tarot, which you've all seen me show before. So anyway, without further ado, I thought I would just look at the 2021 Oracle decks which have stuck in my mind and resonated with me. And this is meant to be a top 10, but I think it's more than 10, but you're just gonna have to go with it, right? So anyway, without further ado, let me start off with the top of the year. Now, the top of the year, I began with the Druid Animal Oracle, I can't speak today. The Druid Animal Oracle deck. Now, this is illustrated by Will Worthington. The authors are Phil and Stephanie Carr-Gomm. I particularly bought this to go with the Druid Craft, which is also illustrated by Will Worthington. Of course, it's a different author. Phil and Stephanie Carr-Gomm are producers of the Wildwood Tarot. So this deck goes beautifully with Will Worthington decks. I can't put it any other way. And tarot decks. And when I bought this, it was quite reasonably priced. I think it was around the €15 mark. I don't know anymore. What its price is. It's mass market, so you can get it on Amazon or Book Depository. Comes with a little booklet, which is very, very helpful. I just want to say each of the cards has just a little picture up here, but then you do get a substantial amount of text. You get meaning, and then you get reverse meaning. And I personally love the guidebook to this deck. Now, I think one of the cards is stuck there. Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful card. Let me show you that one first, because it's actually come out of there. That's an Irish Wolfhound, and I think that is a gorgeous, gorgeous dog. Oh God, yeah. I've seen these in real life, like, of course, all of us have. They're these huge, magnificent beasts. I love them. So gentle. Anyway, so this is the artwork. I love this deck. I started using this. Well, I'd been using it kind of like in the December of 2020 as well, but it went into January 2021, and the main use of this deck was that I kind of like found it very helpful on a Sunday evening pull. I have it that on a Sunday I will pull a card for the week ahead. Some weeks, not every week, but some weeks, and I really love this deck for that. I don't know about some of you, but I actually have. I have some Sunday anxiety, and I think it stems from childhood stuff, which, you know, I'm not going to go into, but maybe some of you might relate to it. But yeah, I have like this Sunday anxiety, and I never had problems going to school. Like, I actually loved going to school. Yeah, I know. I actually enjoyed being at school, but I think that there's just some kind of an anxiety that builds on a Sunday for the week ahead. And this deck has been really good because it's very soothing. So I just liked pulling a card and noting the message and just sitting with it and putting it up in a space where I could see it again, sometimes next to my PC. So it was kind of like a really lovely reminder. I found the animals non-threatening. Although there's a bull in here that looks quite scary. There it goes. I found most of the images non-threatening, even this beautiful adder. I mean, yeah, I just really enjoyed this deck. I love the colors in it. I love the vibrancy. Yeah, what more can I say? So yeah, so this is the Druid Animal Oracle deck. Okay, so without further ado, I'll move on to the next, you're gonna have to bear with me, this is gonna be a long video. Okay, so, and I will timestamp it, of course. So the next one, we're still in winter of 2021, and this is Keepers of the Light Oracle cards by Kyle Gray, artwork by Lily Moses. I really, really love this deck. The reason why I love this deck so much is I love the vibrancy of the colors. I'm someone that does not, just to be very frank, I don't connect with gods and goddesses via oracle cards. I don't know how else to put it, but I just don't. The way I've been raised, we just don't. Yeah, there's a whole way to pray and to meditate from the religion I'm from. It's not exactly the same across the whole religion, of course. There are variations, but oracle cards are not part of that. And so it feels a bit strange for me to say, oh, I was channeling a god or a goddess when I picked one of these cards. It just doesn't, it's not right for me to say that. But what it helps do is it helps me to focus. It gives me a reminder of the message. And then if I want to pray, it can be an option, but it's a better way for me to say that. It's a little bit more honest. That's the best way I'm going to put it. A little guidebook, which is great. I think Carl Gray does great guidebooks, actually. But the colors and the artwork in this deck are just beautiful. And what I appreciated was that there is a title, so there's the name, and then there's kind of like, you know, keywords, and then below it there's like a little sentence, you know, about what the card is trying to tell me, the message. And I really appreciated it. I just really like the simplicity of this whole deck. It's a non-fussy deck. I don't know how else to put it, and it's at a reasonable price, mass market, Hay House. It's glossy, but it's not sticky. It's easy to shuffle. These are the backs, before I forget. Yeah, I get the feeling this deck is maybe kind of like a part 2 or the next stage of the Doreen Virtue Goddess. I think it's a Goddess Oracle she'd done, which of course has gone out of print because, you know, they're no longer doing Doreen Virtue cards and so forth. You know, it is available in other languages, but I really don't care for it. I don't want to go out and buy it or anything. So yeah, so these are the cards. If somebody's new to Tarot and Oracle and you want to try an Oracle deck, I really would suggest this one because it's just such good value for money for what you're getting. And, you know, just I find the images are non-threatening. That's the best way I can put it. It's similar to actually the Druid Animal Oracle deck I just showed you. And again, this is a really nice card for me to just have sitting in a space which is just soothing. That's the best way I can put it. It's soothing. And it reminds me, you know, of like, let me give you a card that kind of like, you know, I've pulled in the past. It kind of like reminds me of it. You know, this one, I pulled this one once, which is, you know, the Buddha, and it says about increased awareness. And actually, strangely, this card really strongly reminds me of the author Anthony de Mello, who is a Jesuit priest. He's passed away now, but he is he's from India, and he mixes Hinduism with a Catholic spirituality as well. It's very strange, but he does actually. So I don't think everybody loves him, but I personally enjoyed his work. And one of the books he's done is called Awareness. He's also done The Song of the Bird. He's just done some beautiful books. I love them. But anyway, you know, this card for some reason reminded me some of the messages of Anthony de Mello, which is kind of like, you know, the awareness that we have, that you know, to not think that this situation and this person or this whatever is everything. It's, you know, like, not for me to get so caught up in it that I can't see the wood from the trees. There was something about, you know, some of those messages that's been really helpful for me on detachment. And for some reason, when I was looking at this card that week, you know, and I had a lot going on, this card just helped me to remember that, like, you know, I can step out of the situation. I don't have to be so caught up in it. It's not kind of like the end of the world kind of like feeling. So yeah, yeah, this deck has just been really gentle. That's the best way I can put it. And you know, and I think Lily Moses has done really lovely artwork. It's just an all-round lovely deck. That's the best way I can put it. Okay, so moving swiftly on, or I'm going to try to move swiftly on because we're already at 10 minutes. And okay, so the next deck I'm going to show you, maybe I might have to cut out some because otherwise we're going to be here all day. But the next deck I'm going to show you is, let me show you a couple of other decks also from that winter, which I found helpful. Now, this is the Mystical Healing reading cards, and this is the Heal Yourself reading cards. Now, they're basically both by Inner Seagull. It's the same cards, and I bought them together because I felt like they went together. I don't know how else to put it. They're very different artwork though, so let me show you this one, which is the Heal Yourself reading cards. I think I used this one more, as I recall. This is the inside of the box. It's by Rockpool. I really like actually the way that they've done this box in particular. And so yeah, so they're glossy. These are the back of the cards, which is gorgeous. And this is the artwork. And I have to say, I haven't used it yet, but I've got the Tarot Vampires. And I actually think this deck would go really well with the Tarot Vampires in terms of artwork. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but there's something about this which is very, very gothic. And I want to say American Gothic. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what it reminds me of. But I do love the artwork. And I actually really enjoyed using these cards in the winter of last year. I have to say they're a little bit like a kick up the butt sometimes. And I think that's good. You know, they kind of like, you know, how teachable are you? And you know, this kind of like stuff is a little bit like, you know, like, you know, is my ego getting a bit too big kind of thing? You know, am I getting a bit too big for my boots? Patience. So, you know, I actually really enjoyed using these cards because they weren't all kind of like love and trust, which you know, which we have with the Carl Gray cards, right? Which is helpful. Sometimes though, I needed a bit of a kick up the butt, basically. These are just really, really good in terms of looking within and reflection. So for example, procrastination. So let's look at that. Procrastination number 8, you know, and the guidebook would say something like, now I've put it down, right? So that's not very helpful. Let me see if I can find it again. Oh, I could find it again. Oh no, there we go. There we go. Procrastination. It says, you're being called to action. There have been important tasks that you have delayed, even if it's something that you don't want to do, like cleaning the house, paying the bills, looking for a job, losing weight, doing your tax, studying, etc. Now is the time to take responsibility and move forward. It says, the point of power is always in the present, which is a very Louise Hay thing. That's words from her. Louise Hay always said the power is always in the present moment. This card is showing you that there is an urgency for you to take action. If you're putting off something that is meaningful to you and doubting whether you can do it, the message is to have courage to face your fears and do what you love. What is the worst thing that can happen? You make a mistake. Even if you do, you will learn. And so, and then it gives you an action to do, actually. And I love these cards. I really do, actually. Now that I'm looking at them with you all, I'm kind of like thinking, I might need to take that out again actually soon and use it even this year. Because, yeah, so I think that Inner Seagull actually did a good job. I know some people have moved on their deck. I personally think it's a great deck. I think the thing with these decks is it's easy to maybe get sick of them if you've seen the images a bit too much. So it's kind of like one of those decks where I feel like it needs a rotation out as well. But I think these are beautiful images, very well done. I mean, I wish a little bit that it had the same production quality as the Blue Angel decks in terms of matte and, you know, thick cardstock and stuff, you know, but at the same time, they're very affordable. I bought mine, I think, around the 14-15 euro mark, which is great. And yeah, I would really recommend them. If you're looking for a deck which is going to help with self-reflection and self-development, I would definitely recommend this one, as long as, of course, the art appeals to oneself. So it's kind of like twin. It's the Mystical Healing. I just want to keep an eye on the time. Hold on a second. Yeah. It's the Mystical Healing reading cards. Now, these also, so this is the inside of the box. Another Rockpool Inner Seagull production. So that's why I bought them together, because I felt like they went together kind of thing. These are the backs. They are gorgeous. Now, this artwork is a little bit more of the Renaissance type. So if you kind of like that kind of artwork and you're seeking an oracle deck to go with your tarot, here it is. So this would go more with some of the old-fashioned Los Scarabeo decks. I'm sorry about the sirens. They're going to go passing. So, oh, that's noisy. So, oh, there goes the police car as well. Okay, so these are the cards. Beautiful images, really, really gorgeous. And I personally think that, again, you know, now this is a gentler deck. So it says here, develop stronger concentration. Or let's take another one. Show self-respect. So this is more, while the other one was a little bit more kind of like cutting through the crap, pardon my language, but that's the best way to put it. This one is a little bit more gentler in terms of its messages. Unlock your heart. You know, this is the other way around. Assimilate life experience. And again, focus on higher truths. So number 14, focus on higher truths. Let's take this one. So again, Inner Seagull takes a moment and she gives a couple of paragraphs. She says, whilst your truth constantly changes as you learn new things, it's important to develop a student-like mind and spend some of your day reaching for a higher truth. Thus, building your soul strength and cleansing your spirit will not only serve you in this life, but also in future incarnations. To open the door to higher truths requires you to develop a deep desire for spiritual wisdom. This can take place by asking profound questions such as, what is the difference between my soul and my spirit? Where did I come from, and who were the beings involved in creating this physical reality? What is the role of the angels? Where do I go after I die, and how can I learn more about it? So, you know, some of it's very general, but I like it. You know, it's just kind of like some studying prompts. And then there's an action here as well. So, again, I think it's a very easy to use deck. If you're new to Oracle and Tarot decks, again, I think this is a great value for money. Mass market, it's again around the 14-15 euro mark that when I bought it, hopefully it's still around that price point. I am somebody that just loves mass market decks sometimes because it allows beginners to experiment, right? And I think it's great. I think it's great that we don't have to break the bank in order to try new stuff. Okay, so going on from there, I think I'm going to take us into kind of like swiftly into spring. Let's go for spring. Now, these are two decks that I think one of them was in 2020. I think the Goddess Dream I bought in 2020, and then this I bought in 2021. But I didn't use this much until the end of last year. But there you go. And I'm using them actually both this year again. So these are working out to be fantastic value for money. They're both by Wendy Andrew. And I'm watching the time here, so I'm going to have to put timestamps. I'm sorry, there's going to be a long video. So this is the Goddess Dream. These are the backs. Very spring-like energy, very spring-like images. And as you can see, they are just stunning, 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 stunning. I'm thinking I might need to use the other light. Hold on for a second. Sorry about this. Okay, let me just switch on the other light because I think we've got sunset now. And yeah, so these are the, sorry about that, let's take that off. The images. Yeah, you can see that a lot better. Okay. So thanks for bearing with me if you've got this far. I think that Wendy Andrew has done a magnificent job. I do know that some persons have said that they did not find these decks diverse enough, and I think that's changed with the Goddess Love Oracle, where we see a lot more diversity. So I also think that, okay, the backs are different, but you could actually just mix the two decks together and have one giant deck, because the images are just so gorgeous and they're just so calm again, you know. And I think that's what my oracle practice has gone back to again and again: calming, soothing energy, non-fussy. You know, some of us, like, you know, I do speak to some other tarot tubers offline as well, and I think that you know, I can't speak on behalf of anyone else, you know. I think that one of the themes that I find repeating is that some of us have you know, either challenges. I suffer from PTSD and complex PTSD, and then childhood issues that I've mentioned kind of like very briefly. And so therefore for me, I sometimes just want something that's soothing and non-fussy. I can't take jarring energy. And then sometimes I will do those horror decks that you've seen where I'm just having fun with like a vampire, really grisly deck, or a zombie deck, and you're thinking, what? But the best way I can describe my energy feels is that I'm at play. That's the best way I can put it. With those decks, I'm at play, I'm having fun, I'm seeing different things. When I'm with the Deviant Moon, I'm seeing like a very, you know, the side of me which is kind of like really like raw. When I work with Tarot V, it's more kind of like the movie side of me, you know, the horror ones. This is the side of me that's kind of like very much needing sometimes just something very soothing, you know, a hug in a deck. That's the best way I can put it. And to be reminded of like my strength in a very feminine way. I think that's the best way I can put it again. So yes, so this is the Goddess Dream Oracle, and its sister deck is the Goddess Love Oracle. If Wendy Andrew makes more, I'm just gonna snap them up. The one thing, these are rock pool decks. The one thing that I did not like about both of these decks, and I have to flag this, is they warp. They warp significantly. They came warped actually, and I think they've warped even a bit more since then. I don't know if you can see that. And that's the one thing that I'm really annoyed about. I wish, you know, I hope Rockpool sort it out. I understand it's something to do with manufacturing, and somebody once explained it in a Facebook group that when the core is made, if it's only got like a print which is going in one direction and not in another direction, the warping happens. I don't know what it's about, but it's something to do with the structure of the actual card in itself at the factory. So if anybody else has got warping cards and you're trying to figure out what happened, and somebody's like saying it's humidity and stuff, I don't think it is. I think it's to do with I think it's actually to do with the production in the factory. So yeah, so these are the images, which are again beautiful. Are more diversity definitely in this deck in terms of cultures. And yeah, I really think that they're just so pretty and soothing, and I feel like I'm in a goddess quest when I'm in these, a goddess inner quest. And they just give me everything that I need. I really like the fact that, you know, there's an embracing of the feminine side in all ways, you know. Yeah, I've gone through a period where I've seen how women, how our image has evolved since I was a child, since I was young, you know, and I'd watch adverts. And I remember like originally when there were no adverts for like Tampax and stuff like that. Sorry to put it that way, but there was nothing for feminine sanitary towels or anything like that. We went from that all the way to today, you know, just the openness of like what it is to be a woman in public. And I want to speak about that because sometimes it's like I always feel like being a woman is kind of like just, you know, there's parts of it which just feel a little bit like strange, as if like, you know, I was talking to another tarot tuber about this, about how in the corporate world still it has been such a breakthrough to accept, you know, pregnancy and like women turning up to work, and we're not like shoved into a suit heavily pregnant. Basically, it's just so uncomfortable. And how today we're just embracing more and more, you know, fantastic clothing, but in a corporate space. So it's a bit off tangent here, but I think it's important, and I like it visually in my representation as well, when it comes to decks. So a bit off tangent. I went 25 minutes, but I'm going to keep going, go as fast as I can now. Okay, so on to the next one. Okay, so the next set of cards that I'm going to bring you are more now. I've moved into the summer. That was more spring. I've moved into the summer, and I'm going to show you a couple of decks that I found very, very helpful. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is two decks that I bought. Well, one I bought and one was sent to me. So I bought the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid, and the simple reason I bought this was because I saw people talking about it everywhere. It's a very, very popular deck. I'm just going to put that away, otherwise it's going to be like carnage here. But I saw people talking about it everywhere. It cost me 15 euros. It's Hay House. I have I don't know if she's done this again in the matte version. I have the glossy version of this. And this is a very, very well-known deck, and I really have loved this deck. These are the backs. Very famous deck. I think this is one of the best value for money Oracle decks there ever is. The messages are spot on, and this deck I think is very, very useful with tarot readings. So if you're new to tarot and Oracle and you want something to go with your tarot readings, this is the deck. I will hands down say it. It is such good, kind of like, it's got such an array of kind of like messages, like why, regeneration here. The messages sometimes they're a bit corny, happy, but I think overall though it's a great Oracle deck. You can use it as altar cards, you can use them as just, you know, do a layout with them. I got this card, All That Glitters, at the perfect timing where I was looking at an issue and I think I was romanticizing it, and this card came up that like what I'm seeing is not actually what it is, and it was spot on. So I find this deck to be eerily like precise. It works really, really well with the Dreaming Way Tarot, actually. I have to say that. It works really well with any kind of like airy tarot deck. But saying that, I've used this also with very earthy decks and it works perfectly. This deck has a magic in it which just blows me away. It says here, to be fair. This is one of those decks where if I had to travel and I could only take a few items, this would be one of the decks I'd have to put into the suitcase. Because it is just so clear, and when I need clarity, I don't really, I know it sounds awful to say this, but the images matter, but there is something about the vibration of that deck and how it gets straight to the point, and the message that matters too. And the only way I can otherwise put it is that this is an Oracle deck, I believe, that actually works as an Oracle. You know, it's not, it's self-development, it's divination and all of that. It's an Oracle. It comes with its message, which is what an Oracle is meant to do, right? So yeah, really love this deck. By Colette Baron Reid. The artist is, I just want to make sure I get it right because I butcher her name, Jenna Della Grottaglia. Very famous, very well known. They've done a lot of decks together, but yeah, I really, really love this deck. And for 15 euros, I think it's just, even if you've used it a little bit and you get bored and you want to pass it on, you know, it's just such good value for money. Okay, the next deck is another Colette Baron Reid. It is the map, the Enchanted Map, artwork by also again Jenna Della Taglia. Yeah, I just want to check that. Yeah, Jenna Della Taglia. And this was gifted to me by a friend. She had accidentally bought it. She didn't want it. She sent it to me from the UK. Very grateful. My one is the old one with the glossy cardstock and the borders. This is now available matte, borderless. I've heard good things about that and not so good things about that. Apparently cardstock is not great. I love this deck so, so much. These are the backs. The backs aren't something that special, but my God, it's like it's kind of like, if this was like the airy deck, This is a bit more earthy and watery. I say that as I hold some dolphins here. This is more earthy to me, much more kind of like the forest. Well, it's meant to be, right? It's called the Enchanted Map. Much more forest energy, but I love it. God, it's just, again, the messages are spot on. I can't go wrong with this deck. If you need an oracle deck to go with your tarot readings, this is it. If you're looking for an altar card deck, this is it. If you only have so much budget and you're new to tarot and oracle cards and you're thinking, what am I going to spend money on? And you want to experiment, right? And you don't want to fork out a huge fortune. So I can't say anything more than that. Just so simple, so straightforward. It's a Hay House deck, Stormfields. And again, I find that the messages are eerily accurate. I don't know how else to put it. Very strong voice in getting to the truth. I personally like how Colette Baron-Reid writes. She does hark, I think, from some areas of writing which I'm familiar with outside of tarot and oracle decks I'm speaking about. So what she writes about and the kind of things she writes are quite familiar territory. But I just, it's a little guidebook. Again, same as the Wisdom of the Oracle. But such good value for money. Again, I mean, I got this as a gift from a friend, but I think it retails, the new ones retail around the €15 mark. So you can't go wrong. I say that you can't go wrong. You can go wrong. I can say that. Or I can go wrong. Anyone can go wrong. If we don't have the budget, we can go wrong, actually. Or if we don't need something and we buy it anyway, we can go wrong. But you know what I mean. It's just a sentiment. Sorry, I should put it that way. Okay, the next one is an oddball I'm going to throw in very, very quickly, which is Botanical Inspirations. This is by Lynn Araujo. I can't pronounce their name. The artwork is by a Flemish Belgian painter who has been deceased for a long time. I need to find his name. Hold on a second. I bought these because I thought that they were gorgeous. Let me just see if I can find the name of our Victorian artist, whose name now escapes me, which is a shame. You know, he's a Belgian artist, so I should know it. But yeah, okay. Okay, I can't find their name. Sorry about that. But I bought this deck, and this is kind of, it does come with a little guidebook, and then it comes with kind of like a little pull out as well with key words on it. Very cute, very nice. These are the backs, but this deck, and then these are the actual cards. This deck is really, really good with tarot readings. And what I noticed was whenever I pulled a card for someone and had this as part of their tarot reading, they really loved it. Like the quote was very, very happy walking away from that reading. And I think that just the soothing energy of the flower was just really lovely. You know, they really appreciated the message. You know, this is Sweet Pea. It says blissful pleasure. Follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there are only walls, by Joseph Campbell. I mean, that is a beautiful message to take away. So, you know, just there's something about this which I really, really love. And it's a bit of an oddball, but I bought it in 2020 as kind of like, you know, when I was just experimenting. And I'm really grateful for it. And I want to buy like another couple of decks that are similar to this, but the reason I haven't is because, you know, sometimes I have to remind myself that I don't need every single deck, if that makes sense. It's almost like, okay, if I'm just going to repeat the energy, leave it, you know, or at least leave it for now. So yes, I'm still getting a lot of value out of that deck. Moving swiftly on, let's go into the real summer period. Okay, so this is the Divine Feminine. Now, I've shown this deck before. It's by Megan Waterson. And let me just move a reminder out of the way. Right, it's by Megan Waterson, and the artwork is by Lisbeth Cheever Gesserman. Now, this is a deck which is very, very, I mean, we're looking at Photoshop basically. So I think it's Photoshop. Or I can't. I'm not a artist, so I have no idea what actual technique was used. But I know that it's matte. It's beautiful cardstock. By the way, these are the backs, which are gorgeous. Now I think the images are what I would deem as okay. I am not completely offended by them, nor am I completely wowed by them, to be very frank. But there are some things I like about this. A, it is more tasteful than some of the goddess decks that I have seen personally. I think it's more tasteful. And two, I like the fact that the goddesses have the actual phenotype of the woman from that region. And three, I actually like the fact that there's an age range, which I noticed as well. So it's not just all very young women. There are women in there who, you know, we go into more the crone energy or the mother energy. So I appreciated it for a few factors. What Our Lady of Guadalupe. What I think that where I think that this deck shines for me personally is I really enjoyed the guidebook. I think Megan Watterson has done an amazing job on the guidebook, and I think that some people, because they don't enjoy the art, it has I don't know how to put it, but it has put people off from buying the deck. That's the best way I can put it. And I'm a little bit sad about that, because I think that she did a phenomenal job on this guidebook. So yeah, so I really enjoyed using this in the summer. It has a very summery energy for me. It's bright, it's fresh. Yeah, I feel like I'm awake when I see these cards. What more can I say? Sometimes I need cards which there's a power, you know, there's a feeling of getting up and being ready. Sometimes I don't want a deck like, you know, sometimes let me pull it out again. You see, the Goddess Love deck, right? This deck is fantastic as something soothing, soft, gentle, sleepy, and comforting. Sometimes I don't need sleepy and comforting. I need like a bit of a kick up the ass kind of thing, and in a good way. And this is a bit more of like that power deck, you know. And I've spoken about this before, that I'm still looking for more decks which have that kind of like energy of like, you got this, you can handle this, you're gonna be fine. So I also think that and I've noticed this specifically, not just in this deck, but in nearly a lot of decks that I have, but this deck also has that issue slightly, is that, you know, in some cultures a goddess is a goddess. She's not actually the same as a woman of history. And I have to point that out, because authors go right across thinking it's fine, you know, publishing houses is fine. And this is where the cultural appropriation side is a big red flag. To remember that in some cultures, a goddess is not just a woman of history. She is a goddess. She's not a saint made into a saint, elevated, you know, we had her as a woman and then we made her into a saint. No, these are actual goddesses. And so when I see that where it's not really done well, and this, I'm afraid this deck does have that issue, it can be quite perturbing. So I really want to be clear about stuff like that, which, you know, I've heard people say, you know, like, you know, what do you think? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but actually, but it's not just this deck that has that issue. A lot of decks have that issue. So I have to be clear that it's, you know, here we have Lala, and then we have, you know, we had just a few you know, we have Shekmeth, and then we have, okay, let me find another one. You know, we have sometimes just goddesses which are mixed in with saints, which are mixed in with women of history. It's not always the right, I personally don't think it's the right thing to do. So yeah, so that's something that I want to flag. But, you know, I've taken this as just, I don't take them as kind of like I'm channeling anything. I take these as more reminders of a message, and that's about it. So that's just my personal take. And, you know, if that doesn't resonate for you, I understand as well completely. You know, I'm not here to push an agenda in that sense. I'm just trying to help you as a viewer understand where I come from when I use these decks. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to go on to, which is another summer deck, which I absolutely loved. Oh my God, we're 40 minutes in. Is the Mother Mary Oracle. I absolutely adore this deck. If there was a few that were favorites from last year, this comes in. I love this deck. I absolutely adore it. I've been raised between East and West, so for me, Catholic messages, there's no issue there for me personally, just to be very clear. I know this can be triggering for some, so I want to already flag that. And of course, please skip to the next one if you need to. It's an Alana Fairchild deck, Blue Angel Publishing, mass market, glossy. I absolutely love this deck because it's just so gentle. Now this deck for me personally, when I've looked at it, and my own personal also studying and also connection with kind of like these energies, let me put it this way, is so potent. I cannot pull more than one card in a week, if not weeks, because for me there is just so much in there, and that's without even sometimes looking at the guidebook, but I think that I mean, I think there was a card in here, I can't remember which one now. When I see it, I'll remember it, where I just had that card sitting up there for like the whole month of August or something, because it was just so perfect. And then I made a copy of that card and I put it into my journal too, because I just wanted to remember that moment. Oh, this was a Lady of Starting Over. And I needed to face some issues, which are still ongoing. I'm still looking at the same issues. It's not like, I've speeded through. But it was in August where I realized, okay, I'm hitting a wall now. And this card was really, really helpful, because I needed to start something, and it meant going back into deeper issues and areas of my life. And this deck was really, really great. This card, sorry, was really great, because I did feel like, am I back there again? Like, have I just gone in a full circle where I've done years and years of work on myself, and I'm back at these issues again? And then I got this card, and it was just really helpful, because it just reminds me that sometimes it's a starting over. It is, and so yeah, I'm throwing in anecdotes there, but hopefully it's helpful, because we can speak about cards from a very abstract level, but sometimes I just need one card, and I just need its message, and it will carry me through days or weeks longer. A Lady of Growth Assured. Oh, just, yeah. You know what these cards help me do? They help me put my life in a bit of a context, that it's okay when I look back, that I just don't see everything as like a carnage or something, Like, I can look back and see progress, and then I can see today, and I can look forward and have that hope, A Lady of Holy Fire, cleansing, a lady who gives peace. I mean, just a lady of new vision. You see, going into the future and seeing things from a fresh pair of eyes. So yeah, so I really, really love these. I love the colors. I'm okay with this like glossy border version. I would like to get the matte borderless version soon, actually, as well, at one point, but of course, I'll save up for that one. But these have been delightful. This was the back, quickly show you that, and definitely worth it if you're of course not triggered by this area, that I have to be very careful of. But if you're not, I personally think this is money well spent. And I have to say, Blue Angel decks are quickly becoming a firm favorite in terms of their quality. Okay, so are we near the end of summer? I'm just looking through everything that I've gone through. I just want to pull these out because this was autumnal. These I bought together, and these are two Lucy Cavendish decks. And I have to say that having had these, I'm happy in the future to buy more Lucy Cavendish decks. Okay, so Oracle of Shapeshifters. I have the version, which I think it's the UK copy. I don't know. They're all varying in terms of how they look on the outside, I think. But this is by Beyond Words Publishing. The artwork is by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. These are the ones that come with funny borders. Everybody's pointed out, why do these decks have these weird borders? And it's true. It's almost like they started doing a border and they decided not to do the rest of it. I don't know what, These are the backs, which I think are gorgeous. And this is the artwork. Now, these are kind of like the big bug-eyed girls. And when I originally bought these, I thought I'd fall for a gimmick. I was like, okay. These currently retail, I think there's a bit of a price drop, around 11 euros. So if you're interested, from Amazon, I don't know, like depends on what region of the world you live in. But currently, these are coming up cheap on my Amazon website. I really, really love these. I just really love them. I think that now I'm getting used to these kind of like figures and faces, but the messages are like tough love, you know. I mean, like a loyal guardian, you know. The delicate fairy and her ferrets, and we, you know, when I kind of like read some of these bats in the belfry, I'll give you one example of these. So I used these in September, which was great, working into Samhain, right? Bats in the belfry, this is number 7. So let me give you a little taster of number 7 so you get an idea. Bats in the belfry. Okay, it says, if I dropped it, I've dropped it. Hold on a second, let me get it again. Okay, it says here, these companions will teach you how to be upside down in life for a time, to fly against the mainstream views and to find your way when you can see no way ahead at all. Oh yeah, wow. They will assist you in moving far beyond the cares and conditioning that told you to stay enraptured by limiting beliefs, to remain in the thrall of your fear of being different. The bats and their astounding skills, sensitivity and talents will help you accept that you must begin to live with even more courage, imagination and boldness, even when you are misunderstood. They will show you how in time you will become an inspiration because you choose to live with valor, excitement and beauty. The bat's only question for you now is, what next? With these friends, no fear can approach you. Oh wow, sorry, that was clear there. That was like, yeah, you see, she's really, really good. You get a lot in one reading. You'll get, so that was number 7 again, right? So let's go back to number 7. You'll get about the bets, you'll get something about the card, then you'll get what they're saying to you, the bats themselves, then you get divination. Yeah, so you get kind of like quite a lot per card. And I think that now that I've experienced this Lucy Cavendish deck, I now know why people rave about these decks. I like them myself. Do I think I need to use them all the time? No, I like to vary things up a bit. But I think they were well worth the money in terms of an Oracle card deck. And if you want to try one, I would recommend this one. Or it's kind of like twin, that's how I see them. Oracle of Shadows and Light. It's again around the €15 price point or less currently. Again, Lucy Cavendish, artwork by Jasmine Griffith. Yes. Now, they have a full border. These are the backs, which I think are stunning. I love that. And these are the actual cards. So there you go. And these are actual persons now. So we have Dried Flower Fairy. We have Witch of the End of the World. These are great for around the Halloween time. And again, you know, they come with strong messages. And yeah, I've really enjoyed these. I actually am going to be buying another Lucy Cavendish deck this year for sure, because I enjoyed these so much. I think it's worth adding to that collection. I am someone that buys things step by step, not all in one go. So that's why, you know, I haven't gone out and bought the rest of them yet. So I will definitely add more to my collection this year. I'm thinking of the Le Vampire or another deck. I don't know which one. Maybe the Fairy Tale one, or the Alice one. You know, she's got quite a few. So I need to think about that. And she's got a couple of mermaid ones, as I recall. So yeah, lots of choice up there. So yes, so this was Oracles of Shadows and Light. Personally, if you have the budget, I would recommend buying both because they kind of like go together in some weird way and well worth it. Okay, so moving swiftly on, we're now into Halloween. And one of my favorite decks, again, last year of all time, is the Halloween Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. I know many of you have this. Another Blue Angel deck. Okay, so I just want to check who is the artist. I'm probably not going to be able to find out quick enough. Okay. Oh, what, by Jimmy Manton? Interesting. A Jimmy Manton deck that I do like, huh? It's not that I dislike all of his decks or something, but I just don't like his depiction of Egyptian women. But anyway, I think this artwork is gorgeous. These are the backs. I actually think the backs are a bit cartoony, but this is the actual deck. I think the artwork is stunning. Really love it. And I have to say, I like this deck so much that I still use sometimes cards now. Like I will sometimes pull out a card that I like and put it up in my altar space kind of thing now. So it's a deck that if I'm using a seasonal deck outside of its season, I think it's been value for money. So what more can I say? The Lamp, Remembrance, you know, Barmbrack, Sweetness and Synergy. That's what it says there. I love this card, Spider. I sometimes put this card up still in my altar space. I love spiders. Community and web weaving. Yeah, that's a gorgeous card. Okay, so I won't show you all of them, Graveyard, but just, yeah, I really love this this Oracle card set. And again, like, you know, if you just want to buy one or two Halloween decks, Halloween kind decks, this is definitely Oracle cards. One of them, I recommend it. And the other one that I recommend, have I pulled it out? Yes, it is here. It's sitting right here. Seasons of the Witch. I think nearly everybody has this deck. Everyone and her auntie basically have this deck. This is the inside. Isn't that beautiful? It is illustrated by Giada Rose. I think it's Giada Rose. Lauren Anderson and Juliet Diaz are the writers. This is the first one of the series of this Seasons of the Witch series. Now they've done, of course, the Yule one. The Belton one is coming out soon. This is the gilding. Gorgeous. These are the backs. I bought this deck well before like everybody started buying it. It was really strange. I saw it coming up on my Amazon or something, or on Book Depository. I saw it somewhere. I thought, oh, that looks interesting. And it was like 15 euros at the time. So I was like, I'll get it. And then of course it went through the roof because it was so popular. I think that they are stunning cards, just absolutely stunning. I think a lot of us have noticed that this is really tapped well into that witch energy. The thing was though that there was a lack of diversity. I think that was very well noted in these cards in particular. But it really taps into, for me, that Samhain energy and that Halloween energy. And yeah, I mean, it goes really to that core of, for me, the 17th century, early 17th century, when a lot of us were burnt at the stake, basically. And it really goes well with some of the books that I read at that time of year as well. I'm more into reading that time of year, some of the stories. So this is the first time where I've used an Oracle deck like this, and look at that. That is a fantastic card, one of my favorites again. This goes so well with the Darkwood Tarot. If you have both, I mean, you've got a match there. So yeah, so this has been a great, another Rockpool deck. Rockpool have been really hitting high last year. I don't have the Yule one. I'm not sure if I want to get that one, to be quite honest with you. I would like to get the Belton one. Okay, so that was Seasons of the Witch, Samhain Oracle. Now, let me just go on to the final ones. I think we're at the end now. Is that everything? Is that everything? Is that everything? I think that's it. I will just throw in a cursory. A deck that I really like is the Fairy Oracle. This is less seasonal, more just I love it. It's a Fairy Oracle. Artwork by Arthur Rackham, and then Jamie Elford was the writer for the guidebook. I in particular just love the images. They're haunting. They're very Victorian. They're very eerie, basically, but I love them. This deck really speaks to me growing up in the north of England, in a very cold village. Cold, hilly, not many people around. dark, windy, damp. But this deck really just reminds me of some of that life. And I have memories of walking through fields of horses and to get over to, to meet over somewhere else and someone else, and with my little bag of packed lunch and stuff. And yeah, just there's something about these cards that remind me of going to bed and like, having fairies in my head, and like my own magical thinking kind of thing as a child, which I think is okay, right? Like when we're young. These are the backs, which is just stunning. So yeah, I really, really love this deck. I just find it very haunting and breathtaking. And I'd like to get the book, actually, the Arthur Rackham Illustrations book. Okay, so I think I've done a good fair roundup. It's 55 minutes, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to timestamp all of this, so please feel free to, of course, you are going to skip ahead to the bits that you need to, which is really great. Thank you, anybody who has stuck it out this long. Wishing you all a lovely weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you again. Bye.